What's up, everybody? I'm James,
I'm Lana.
and welcome to Mystical Monday, man.
Mystical.
All right, today we're going to be talking about psychics, and maybe some proof that some of them could be real. I don't know. Are they full of shit? Are they only in it for money?
Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Although it seems like they are. It's pretty expensive.
I would say more times than not, but I'll get there later. All right, I'm going to give you the first example of one that I think could possibly be one of the biggest stories or cases of a psychic being full of shit. So, have you ever heard of someone named Sylvia Brown?
Of course.
She used to be on the Montel Williams show.
Yeah.
You ever watch that show?
All the time.
Yeah.
Every single day that I was home from school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick day.
It was on the lineup.
Yeah, Montel.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Springer.
What is it? Jenny Jones.
Judge Judy.
Springer. Springer?
Yeah, Springer. I just said that.
Springer. Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, I was watching some clips from Sylvia Brown on YouTube, and I wanted to give a couple of examples. And I think I use these because I think they're really fucked up. So there was one example where a woman and her husband were there, and the woman asked Sylvia Brown, she said, "Can you tell us how our daughter died? Because she died, but we never got to find out, like, why, like, what happened to her." And Sylvia says, "Because she was shot." She said she was shot. That's how she died. She was fucking shot.
That's what you get.
And the parents said, "I don't think that's possible because she died and she collapsed in her bedroom by herself at the house when we were there. She died in her bedroom."
Oh, wow.
And Sylvia was like, "No, she was shot." Like, she tried to defend herself still.
Like, when the people are, like, saying, no.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't shot.
I don't know, man. It just seems really cruel to do that to somebody. Like, these parents are just looking for closure, you know?
Really they were just trying to guess. But, like, a lot of the psychics, like, they'll use other ways, to try to find the information undercover.
Yeah.
Or
they use, like, really common, like, tactics, and they're very generalized with what they're saying, so that it kind of applies to almost everyone.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know, but, like, something has happened to the point now where, Facebook being available is absolutely, they can find everything they could ever want,
That's true.
I mean, some people's stuff is not is private, so you can't see it, but a lot of people out there have, like...
Well, anybody can go online, honestly. You can go online and get a background check on someone without the permission.
That is true.
You can know where they worked. You can know all their addresses. You can know the names of all their family members, dead or alive.
Yeah. That is true. That's pretty creepy, actually.
It's really easy.
Yeah. You have to, like, go to... I know, like, there was at one point which they were acting like you could kind of scrub your name from the internet, and you go around to these different places that were like the public information thing, and you could erase all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, that was like probably in, like, I don't know, 2004. So I'm sure that's all, everything I could possibly know is about me out there.
Yeah.
Have you ever searched for yourself?
Yes.
What'd you find?
Nothing I want to talk about.
That sounds like something exactly like something we should talk about.
No, nothing bad. I'm a good guy.
That is BS.
Anyway.
Fine. I guess you don't want to hear what I saw whenever I searched my name then.
Oh, really?
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Nothing I want to talk about here.
We'll save it for the next episode. So, another example of Sylvia Brown. So, this woman, she was on and she lost her boyfriend tragically, and they never found him.
Okay.
And so the woman says, "Can you tell me, like, it was really tragic. I lost my boyfriend. We never found him. I just need some closure." She's like, "Can you tell me anything about him?" And Sylvia says the words, quote, "You never found him because he drowned. He's in the water. You're not going to be able to find him because he's in the water." And the woman said, "I don't think that's possible because my husband was a firefighter and he died in 9/11.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The fucking building collapsed on him.
Dude. That's
and
messed
up. They weren't able to find him. And she was just looking for some kind of closure, But Sylvia was like, "Oh, he drowned."
How is she still around?
I don't think so.
Like, after all of that?
Yeah. She tried to, like, even, like, defend herself, saying, "I just feel like, like I'm hearing that his lungs are full of water, like he drowned." And then she looked at the mom and tells, she's like, "Hey, it could be something like the water from the hose or something."
Yeah.
No,
Whoa, that is reaching.
you're full of crap, lady.
Yeah. Yeah, so, a lot of them, whenever they say, like, that's wrong, they'll be like, "It's 'cause yeah, but you have somebody
Mm-hmm.
that starts with a C in your family." "Oh, no, yeah, I do, actually." It's
Yeah.
like, continue on from there. So, yeah, so this guy back in the day, so we're talking mid-19th century, there's this guy named Robert Browning who would just go into those old-timey, basically paranormal, like, investigations, but,
Mm-hmm.
like, before they had any of the technology. And, they'd take, like, the little, like, camera shots in the dark or whatever, and the ladies would be, like, ectoplasm coming out of their mouth, and they're like, "Rrr," it looks crazy as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, he went in there, and he was like, "This is bullshit, like, this is such bullshit." So, he goes in there, and, he has, let's see, he's got no kids, and this guy comes in here, and he tells him, and let's see, the guy's name is Daniel Home, is the guy who was doing the psychic, and he was, like, really big in, Scotland. So anyways, he goes into this reading, and then, like, the guy's picking up, and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, like, like, your son, I just feel like, I'm gonna try, I feel him, like, coming through me, like he's telling me something," and they're just like, crazy shit. So, like, he tells him that, and he's like, "I don't have a son, like, I don't have a son, so how are you conjuring my son? I don't have one."
Sure.
And the guy's like, "Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm sensing, like, did your wife have an abortion maybe and you didn't know?" He got really mad, and he just jumped at the guy and basically destroyed the entire setting, like, everything. He destroyed the entire thing. So, like, all the little mechanisms that made things work the way that they were, just completely Wizard of Oz'd him. 100. So it's pretty messed up, but it was like one of the major first situations where they were like, "Hey, you're full of shit." So
I just don't get it.
it's really interesting.
I don't get how people can, like, believe these people either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be just
It's like one person. It's like you get one person right, but with a very generalized reading. Everybody's like, "Oh my god,
oh, that applies to me too.
oh my god." Yeah,
I
I mean,
sense that you have a male or female in your life. Is that true?
since
Like,
that you drive to work, is that true? Yes.
yeah. So that's pretty messed up.
I mean,
But
have you ever seen? So I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but like I saw this show. Oh gosh, I can't remember what it was called. It was like back in, like, when I was in high school. I used to watch this show. Anyway, there was like these people that were like trying to expose these fake psychics, and so they would like hire the psychic to come in, and then they would give them fake history
mhm.
to go off of, like tell some story that was just completely fabricated, and be like, "Can you help me?" And the psychic could start going like, "Oh, okay, yeah, now I'm
Yeah.
sensing, yeah, the fake story that they told them." So it was like complete bullcrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I can't remember the name of that show, but yeah,
I
I
have
mean,
no idea what, like, it
that's
was
a
a
very
daytime show they did that on?
I don't think
Like one of
so.
those
It's
cheesy
like something
ones?
on MTV or something,
Oh,
probably.
so same diff.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I mean, that's just obvious proof that they're just using very generalized and very vague examples of ways to just get into people's pockets. It's just really screwed up.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because that's kinda like what my next guy, his story is about. So, it's this guy named Thomas John, and he, was popularized as, someone who could talk to the dead, just like some of the others. There's millions of them now. So before he did this, though, he was a drag queen in Chicago.
Mm.
Yeah, named Lady Vera Parker. So you
That's
already
classy.
know it's classy.
Yeah.
It's super classy. But then later in life, his actual full name is Thomas John Flanagan. He actually got charged with theft and fined and sentenced to probation. And he basically said he can no longer remember how any of that happened. Like, people see the charges for it and ask him about it. And he's like, I have no idea. I can't remember. You know, he's a psychic, but he can't remember. So that's weird. Anyways, so like he was basically outed by a couple of people who actually went in there to do that, and like they went to the show and they had Facebook pages made, and they were gone. They were like, for this was a long time. It was probably like 12 to like 24 months or something that they did this, so it looked legit. Had like friends and all of that, and they posted regular stuff each day just to make it look legit. It was crazy, and it was like 4 different people who did this, and they would manage it all, and they would just like, you know, I don't know, whatever. They made it look super legit. So they all go on there, and then they try to have like a very terrible story, you know, so that they can get their name called, basically.
Oh yeah.
And so they put in this just crazy stuff, and he totally just fell for all of it. So it was just like going completely off of that, and actually picked 2 of the people that were in that group. So it was bad. It was just very wrong, and they were just like, okay, cool. Yeah, so that was completely like, they wrote a whole article about it and just like wrecked him. However, he's still doing it. So
Really?
someone's believing him. I don't know. I don't know how these people still have jobs after being slammed like that. I would feel like it's over.
Did they call him out on the spot, like on the show, or did they just make an article about it later?
They just made an article about it later. Because the lady actually, what happened is that the lady, there were so many details about it because they've been going on for like 2 years, that she didn't really remember the whole story. Like, she tried to like brush up on everything. And he's like, yeah, I'm picking up a guy named Buddy. Do you have a Buddy in your family? And she was like, yeah, it's my grandfather. And he was like, you know, made this really weird face. And because in the story, yeah, she had a buddy in her family that died, but it was her dog. But she forgot, you know, she forgot. So, what are you going to do? You know, it happens to the best of us. So he was just like weirded out by it, and then knew that she was, you know, setting him up essentially. So he like moved over to the next person just like immediately. But they showed that, like, it's on it's like on video.
Yeah.
So it's pretty bad. But yet he's still doing it. He was, I think, let's see, he started on Manhattan Medium on the Lifetime channel. If you catch that one, hot off the presses. And then he actually has a reality TV. Oh no, that's. Oh no. Okay, so he starred in a reality TV show called Seatbelt Psychic. That one was the one that's on Lifetime, but he's called the Manhattan Medium. You know how they have like the New Jersey Medium?
Mm-hmm.
What, Teresa Caputo? Have you ever watched her show?
So. No.
Have you ever watched it? It's, I mean, you gotta wonder. She seems legit, you know?
Alright, so let me flip the script then. Flip it. Do you think that psychic abilities can be real?
Yes, absolutely. I just think that probably about 98% of them are like, the ones that are trying to make money, especially, aren't legit.
What do you think about, like, scientifically, how would a psychic have those kind of abilities? I mean, is it people using more of their brain than we are?
Possibly, but I feel like it's more like a kind of like a sixth sense. Like, it's like, I don't know, maybe we have more than the senses that we have, you know? And some people have access to them and other people don't, because you know, I just think they must have some kind of connection to another, I don't know, some other realm.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like the ones that I've seen that are at least somewhat credible, they have like different ways that they can do it. Like, one person, it's like they can actually see the people there. like they can see them.
Yeah.
Other people, it's like they can see them in the head and they can draw them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they draw like a perfect picture of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like maybe some people, like maybe like you said, like we all have it, but maybe some people have like a higher level
I
of
feel
that
like
ability.
some people have a higher level. I think we're always walking in the veil, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like I mean I truly believe that like animals that they can see auras. I truly believe that.
Oh yeah, I've seen so many, like even my own personal pets at home that have like been looking at something that I can't see.
Yeah, that
and there's
is
obviously
really
something
freaky.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is freaky. But I do think that they can see people, and when they see people, I think they see colors, and they know what colors are good and what colors are bad. Because there's too many instances where an animal, lost animal, whatever, just happens to run to the person's house that is totally awesome. They take them in, feed them, give them water, and try to find the owner, and it's just like, how would they know that? Like, I mean, I have my own experience, like with our cat, Max. Like, I straight up said, we're not getting a cat unless he shows up at my front door. He has to be sitting at my front door. That is the only way that's going to happen. And I'll be damned if, like, 3 months later, there was not a cat waiting to just come inside like he owned the place.
That's
And
so
I think
weird.
we said that all the apartments are set up the same, and maybe he lived in another apartment and got kicked out or ran out or whatever because he had a kitten collar on instead of and he was like tight. So
Right.
somebody owned him at some point. But he just ran to us, just knowing that I said, show up on my door. Okay, here I am.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Very strange.
So we were talking a little bit about science. So I have an example of someone who was actually a psychologist. He tried to prove that psychic abilities were scientifically possible and real. And he tried to do this with an experiment. So this is in 2011. The psychologist's name is Daryl Bem. And a lot of his peers thought that it was a hoax because he was writing this big paper about it. And they thought it was just total bullcrap. And so they said if Bim could prove something so outlandish as psychic ability with acceptable social science methodology, it said that there had to be something wrong with that methodology in order for him to prove it. Like, there's no way that you could prove that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote this paper, and then there's another parapsychological researcher named Etzel Cardena, and they wrote a paper in 2018 that basically went over Dale Bim's paper, like trying to kind of like redo that experiment, bring it back up, try to prove that maybe he wasn't as full of crap as everybody thought that he was. And so one of the biggest supporting things that they use as evidence of it being real is this experiment that they called the Gansfeld procedure. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So in the Gansfeld procedure, they would put someone in a room, and the room would be completely soundproof, where you couldn't hear anything from outside. They put a blindfold on them so they couldn't see anything. And there'd be somebody outside the room on the other side of the wall, and they would have multiple TV screens, and they're all playing different things, like different scenes from different movies or TV shows.
God.
And they would be looking at one specific screen, and then they would tell the person in the room with the blindfold on, they can't hear anything. They would have like headphones or something. They tell them, okay, I want you to sense what the other person in the room next to you is watching, and I want you to describe what's on the screen in detail. And people could do that. They could describe what these people are watching on the other side of the wall in vivid detail.
What?
Yeah, it's called the Gansfeld procedure.
I have heard of something of the sort like that. Did you ever watch Paranormal State?
That sounds really familiar, but
It was
I
like a
wouldn't.
group of like college kids in Pennsylvania, Penn State, and they like had their own little group in their school.
I've never watched it.
And then well, anyway, the lead guy of it, Google him sometime if you ever want to see a train wreck. Let me just put that out there. Whoa. He was like really like prim and proper on the show, and then like, holy shit, what happened? Anyway, Ryan Buell. Google that. So anyways, yeah, they did something like that where they would go into a room and put earplugs in, and they would put something over their eyes, but it like did like some like laser stuff behind it, like red light or
Mhm.
something. And so they couldn't hear and they couldn't see. And then they would sit in there and just like do readings because it was like whatever they felt was so much more like intense. So it's like
Mhm.
they would be like, okay, like I'm seeing this, this, and this, and they would get it right. So that was pretty cool. But I'm sure that's kind of what that was based off of.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds really similar. Yeah, so they would have, like, multiple screens in there, and they had these other ones on because they called them distractor screens. Like,
Tractor
if they
screens.
picked up something that was on a screen other than the one that he was watching, like, that would be a way to, like, disprove it.
Hmm.
Like, maybe somehow he did hear it or something.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, there were multiple people that did the experiment that were able to describe it in
Well,
detail.
I mean, maybe I feel a little bit like, sensitivity to that is in everyone. And there's only certain people that maybe they're just born with a little bit more. Like some people that like are like, why am I seeing dead people? This is creepy. And they have to go
Mhm.
get help. But like usually it starts out with like someone realizing that they're able to sense things or, whatever. And then they kind of catch on to it like, oh, why I have this ability. And then they just kind of either grow it. But then I also know a lot of people that block it. Like they're like, yeah, I have that ability, but I don't want to like deal with it
Mm.
at all.
Yeah,
Like,
scared of it.
no way. And I'm,
Yeah, have you ever heard the idea that kids or, like, maybe, like, toddler age are able to see and feel things like that, and then they kinda, like,
yes.
grow out of it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're kind of like animals at the beginning, like where they're not swayed by the outside world. They have no brainwashing of any sort. So they're just straight up
Hmm.
don't know anything. So they're open to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's weird to think about because, like, it's like maybe everyone is born with that type of ability. Maybe you still have it. Maybe it's just like you forget.
Yeah. That's very
It's
possible.
like, maybe you find other ways to communicate or other ways to sense things. Like, when you learn language or you learn anything, it's like you're almost like replacing the memories in your brain of like how to do that stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and the same can be said with memories. It's like the more memories you make, it's like you almost lose some.
Yeah. That's true. And
Yeah,
it's also like, why is it that like kids are able to like learn a gazillion languages when they're really young, like easier
yeah,
than they are now?
yeah. Like if you want to learn how to do anything, speak a different language, play an instrument,
Yeah, like do it as a
do
kid.
it as a kid because you learn way
Yeah.
better.
So
And
crazy.
yeah, it's like your the retention of whatever you're trying to learn, it just stays there. I don't know.
It's like why it's almost as if we're just like, I don't know, they just like give us a lot of power and then just take it away. You could have this, but you're gonna be stupid. Sorry about it.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the fake ones, it's like obviously, with me and you both think that people like that can exist and do exist. I've seen a lot of different psychics that I really think are real. That they're not making it up.
Hmm.
But there's just so many making it up.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, there's so
98%
many.
is probably a good
Yeah,
percentage to use. So,
yeah. It's kind of like
um,
magicians. They've got their ways. They try not to like give it up so that people don't learn and just keep
yeah,
coming. I mean, people that go to them are already in like a very emotional state.
yeah,
I mean, it just, like you said earlier, it's just kind of wrong. And it's not kind of wrong, it is wrong. Because
yeah,
these people are just like wanting answers, especially when it comes to people that are missing or have died or whatever. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just so terrible because, like you said, people are really emotional when they go in there, and like they're wanting to get some kind of answer, they're wanting some kind of closure, they're wanting some information that's really going to make them feel better, really help them.
hmm
These people are taking advantage of it.
yeah, charging them insane amounts.
Yeah, and like you said, like they go in there with the idea that maybe these people can help me, so it's like they almost like agree with everything.
Yeah,
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 I'm sensing that there's someone named Linda in your life. Do you know a Linda? Oh yeah, my dad's half brother used to be married to someone named
yeah,
Linda.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
like
It's like, okay, not Linda, Lindsay? Maybe
yeah,
Lindsay? I'm getting like a Lynn? come on. Fuck. You know, like, come on, get it right.
Yeah.
Try to pick like common names like Brian, Steve. God.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot could be said about that, but I don't know. Who's to say? I think that they're real. I think that there are some that are real, but I think there are obviously very many people that fake it just for profit.
Yeah. Lots. And, you know, if you want a real one, try to find one that doesn't charge, because that most people who have that ability will be like, I'm not going to charge you. Like, I just like, let me try, but don't get all upset.
Try to find one that doesn't advertise it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
they don't have a TV show or something that they're
definitely not. Yeah.
All right. Well, until the next episode.
All right. Well, we had fun, you guys. I hope that you had an interesting 30 minutes. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next Monday.
Later.
Later.